can talk to the chat while I do it.
I was going to say, are we good if I quickly update Skype, but I'll leave it. I didn't realise there was an update.
So if I remove those sources...
An update, like...
Alright chat, I think we're back. I'm not sure what's happening. I'm going to try and restart my gaming PC as well. I'm having issues. It won't even shut down.
Hey, you see me?
This is the other issue I'm having with it. It won't shut down, it won't restart. I have to actually physically hard reset it. And that's now the seventh or eighth time that's happened, so I'm not sure what the fuck's going on there with that either. I don't know what would cause that, so I'm thinking a reinstall of Windows isn't good for that one.
It's weird that you see my picture and your picture now, but...
Yeah, well I've just re-added the source, and now it's resizing because I haven't done the fucking... the thing.
Lock-in thingy.
Time warping.
Yeah, because I haven't done the scale to inner bounds thing, which will make you massive. I resize it all over again, so bear with us guys. I'm so sorry that we're going through all this shit. We shouldn't be having this issue at all. Not this late in the fucking game.
Well, it just means your 3-hour streams also can be a slight technical demonstration of how to do NDI source.
Oh, NDI sourcing, yeah. But also too, it shows how evil stresses when shit doesn't work properly.
It's scary. At least he's not throwing anything yet.
Yet.
Yeah.
It's no good for your brain or your heart there, man. No need to stress. No. It's all good. No panic.
Well, when you got a $3,000 computer that's not working, it's a bit of a stress.
Yeah, I've had that over the well, not the computer, but the equipment for music. Yeah, it's just the old case of, man, it'll figure it out. Sooner or later, you get it sorted.
It's like how
Where's Hector over here?
I bought that brand new hard drive, got it home, turned off the computer, got everything ready, put it in, turn it on. Hard drive spins up, clicks a couple of times, spins back down, and that's all it did.
Yes.
So, right, so $260 and a week's worth of waiting for nothing.
Yeah, man, crazy shit happens all the time, eh?
Yes, I know what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm reinstalling Windows gaming PC.
Unless you can play Ark at the same time.
I'm leaving home for the day.
Well, I can't because on my gaming PC is where I play Ark, man.
Ah.
Funnily enough, that's why it's a gaming PC. But well, at least we're gonna be about half hour late, guys. I'm gonna have to do this with the battle map as well. So
when I have bad days, I go down to my spare room. I turn on the Xbox 360 and the old school TV, and I'm like, oh, look at this. No problems at all.
Tell you what, the amount of times I've considered selling my PC gear and just going back to Xbox, not funny.
Thinking of the Life of Brian song right now.
Which one?
Always.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Light of life.
Oh, I always thought they said always look at other people's wives.
Oh, that explains.
Okay, that explains some stuff for here.
Right, one more camera, Elimachondris. So it could have been the Skype update that has screwed with the NDI source, possibly. Who knows? I just wish I would have noticed half an hour ago when we started this Skype call. Could have figured this out before we went live.
Well, you needed it to go live to see it in the first place.
No, the NDI sources show up in Skype whether we're live or not. So that's that one. I need to do the battle map as well, but I really don't want to because it's all set up and I don't want you guys to see what's got planned. So
just do it when you're about to do the battle.
I'll have to. I'll have to piss.
Have to wait.
I'll have to piss with it when we start the battle. If that'll happens, it should.
Well, at the same time, typical kick in the nuts. You'll probably switch to it and it'll work fine.
Oh, probably.
Yeah,
no,
do it
no,
on
my
your
fucking
back
luck.
screen or something. Yeah.
Well, I can't, as a thing. It's a full scene switch. But we'll get there. We'll sort it out. So that's that part, guys. We finally have that sorted. Like,
Your dice roll is stuck.
yes, I will be. I'd already explained that to you, Trash.
I was busy doing other stuff.
Pay attention, man. Pay attention. So
That's
I'm just not going to open Chrome on this fucking computer right now and just deal with this stuff. Where am I missing? I'm missing that one. So close that, put side by side. I will reduce. Oh. Now you'll see the dice roll is working. Because I reduced the size of I had to run the Skype window at max level. So, guys, apologies. I've been having some issues. I'm not in a good frame of mind, so hopefully this will change very shortly once we get into this.
That all depends on the characters, doesn't it?
Well, no, the characters are characters. Once I'm actually in character with other things, we should be good. Just chat, be aware. Not a good night to fuck with the DM or with the streamer, because I will probably just ban you because I'm in that type of mood. Not that anyone does in this channel, we're pretty good. One thing I can't see. Paying attention is expensive. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, especially for Ellie, lady. Especially for Ellie.
Right. So, now that we're what are we almost half an hour behind, we should probably get straight into this because we have a bit to get through tonight. We may run a little over time, hopefully not, but at the most it'll be half an hour. Obviously, the half hour delay. But let me scroll through this. So yeah, so the only obviously this other computer issue, I might just have to bite the bullet and reinstall Windows and be done with it. See what happens, or reinstall Chrome first and see if it's just Chrome that's having an issue, which is quite possible, as yeah, Google's being a bitch. Right, chat. Welcome to Sunday night's D&D. We've hopefully sorted the technological difficulties. Welcome everybody. Escape your keys away to D&D land. This is where we're heading. I get to kill my party tonight, which is good. So I'm going to have some fun. Anywho, last we left off, the Lions had succeeded in closing a rift into the Hells to prevent more minions from Hell from crossing over. You then travel back to Voland proper via a portal scroll, which had been purchased from the Arcanus, which returned you to the exterior of the Arcanus instead of inside, which was a little odd, but you seem to think that's probably got something to do with security or whatever else. They're trying to avoid having people portal directly into the Mage's Tower at this point. Once back home and at the guild, Ildry is in a bit of a pranking mood and decides that it is a good idea to prank Alessandris by posing as Het naked in her bed when she enters her room, and later on posing as Sadiq naked carrying coffee. It was a bit of fun and games backwards and forwards. Eventually Sadiq aids Het in figuring out who the prankster is, which he stores for a little bit later. You then make your way to the Corum's Manor home and inform him of your success. While you're there, none other than Thorfi, Namaris' father and Archmage of the city of Voland, has revealed that he's returned and gives you some information to ponder. Upon you returning to the guild house, you run into an old friend who, the half-orc Bash, who informs you that the militia and Aslan have been invited or have been asked here to aid the city in the final encounter. Het asks whether Aslan would join them at the final battle, and Bash wasn't entirely sure at this point, but he has been asked. Once back at the guild hall, some of you head to the training ground while Sadiq heads to the Arcanist to conduct some research. While there, Sadiq does get a bit of information that he didn't have before, not a whole lot, but does seem to have the bulk of information you have about demons and devils and undead. But the information that he's able to glean is that this so-called Dark Rider or Dragon Rider champion is possibly someone that you may know, someone that is basically fallen, a fallen champion of sorts, or someone who's turned from the light. Once Sadiq returns, you find and discusses that information. Meanwhile, as Sadiq was at the Arcanus, Het decides to get his own back on Ildri and pretends to kill Neymaris and Alessandros in the training ground. To which, once Ildri finds out, throws them all in the air 100 feet and then drops him, causing a little bit of damage, but not too much. Once all together again discussing potential suspects for this so-called Dark Rider, you decided that you needed to speak to Thorfi and possibly Coram as soon as possible. Ildri at some point during this conversation leaves abruptly, drawing some suspicions as to what is going on, and after a little bit of discussion with the others, Het eventually decides maybe it's time to see what's happening and heads to Ildri's room, knocks on her door, and as he's invited in, discovers Ildri's secret. And this is where we rejoin the Lions now, or rejoin Het and Ildri specifically. As Het, you have entered Ildri's room and you find yourself amongst the ice, as it has been recently. But in the center of the room is a large, well, not too large, but a largish nest made from icicles and snow. The room is temperature controlled, and in the center of this nest is a dragon egg.
Oh, and if I remember right, he clicked the door closed behind him.
He did indeed.
So Ildri, I kinda guessed that there was something up, and he points at the egg. Is this yours?
Remember I said I was making a surprise and kind of with you for surprise. This is ours.
Oh, good. That answers my next question. That's easy. Wow. And he looks around and he's like, I mean, I come from the land of the ice and snow. This is awesome. Any reason you were keeping it secret from me?
Well, every time I've tried to mention it, I don't know, he pulled out dead things from bags and drawers, and it wasn't the right time to see if you would be a good kind of a parenting person.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I probably haven't shown the greatest skill in that section. My apologies.
I've spent centuries trying to trust people, so it's kind of hard, but now I'm getting used to it, and also with Kosis and everything going on, I think it's better if we hid things until we found out we were safe.
100% you need to keep this egg quiet. That will only upset the enemy, not to mention anyone who might want to take any anger out on you or even us. So, what is the egg sitting in, out of curiosity?
I've made this druid craft of icicles in a nest kind of thing, keeping it cold.
And what color is said egg?
It is white with pearl speckles.
How long till it hatches?
That's the problem. It's really bad timing. It's kind of a little bit around the blood moon.
What? That is really bad timing.
Yeah, I know you'd be upset, but
No,
it
not
could be
upset.
later. I'm taking it everywhere with me. I'm not leaving it to sit around, so I keep it cold in this kind of like ice-contained case that I've been carrying.
We cannot take it to battle.
We can't leave it.
I mean, yeah, I guess everywhere is going to be battled, but it is in great danger if we take it out.
But if we all die, then it's in grave danger all alone.
Then we need to find, like, guardians if we all die. Someone who can... Do you have someone in mind?
Well, you're not gonna like this. I was thinking Allie. You know, she's... I know she's not been good with traps, but I think, you know, she would nurture and be very protective of.
I don't question any of the group, the Lions, at all. We are all questionable, but we are all good people. However, the point is, if we all die, we can't choose one of our own as a guardian, because, I mean, as good as Allie is, I don't think she would be a great babysitter dead.
I don't trust anyone. Do you trust anyone?
Well, not anyone that's alive at that anymore. So we have a dilemma.
We have to find like a god dragon kind of person.
Yeah, what's the name of the being that you sort of talk with?
Begilia.
Yeah, Begilia, that's the one. Hit knew that. Bears didn't. Can Begilia look after it?
I can ask. I use my cloak to ask Begilia if he would be able to look after the egg.
So you concentrate on your mentor, your friend, and a few minutes pass and nothing, but then in the far corner room by the window, the snow and ice in the room starts to shift and spin almost in a like mini tornado kind of way, and after a few moments a form figures, and it forms and sort of stands up out of the snow, and standing before you is in a almost like an astral projection of your mentor.
Begilia, you know about the egg. If we all pass, could you or anyone you know take care of this egg?
And the spectral figure walks toward, but doesn't walk, sort of floats across the top of the sort of ice and snow in the room and moves towards the egg and towards you both. Looks at the egg, looks back at you, and just says, I myself able care for offspring physically, of course, but the Emerald Enclave, best bet, ensuring survival of your young were you both to perish.
And Head can hear this as well, yes?
Yep. You can see this figure as well. Saw it form and you've seen him before as well. It was a while ago, but you have seen him.
Okay. That is a good suggestion. Ildri, you trust this enclave?
Well, yes. I mean, Inari was in it, but she was in there double agent. But all in all, they're good. They stand for balance. think they protect it.
Okay, is it worth maybe giving it to them during this time of the blood moon?
I don't want to let go of my egg.
I understand. I realize the past. You don't want to be responsible for its destruction if you take it somewhere where it is in danger. The box you have for it, is it invulnerable?
GM?
It's magically contained, so it's not invulnerable. It can be destroyed, but it would take a little bit. It definitely can take a few knocks, but it can be destroyed if the right situation presents itself. But Gilly at this point softly says to you both, I can ensure the Enclave is aware of what is happening, and they could be here within the hour. I will guarantee the safety of the young. I will watch over it.
It's your choice, Yildri. It is our child, but at the end of the day, you understand more about children than probably what I do. If you choose to bring it with us, I will guard it with my life.
You know, the best place for an egg is with a very protective, angry mother dragon. Let me think about it. Maybe, do we tell the team?
Telling them is good. They will defend it as we would. As long as they're aware that we do not want anyone else to know. But we cannot tell them out in the open. It would be something you would maybe want to bring them in here for. Somewhere where we're not being, with prying ears and stuff like that.
So I touch the earring ascending and I say, a lion meeting in my room. Stat. Stop.
And with that, Begilia looks at you both and gives you a slight bow and just says, call on me if you have a decision. And with that, the snow just spins and just drops and rescatters. So, the rest of you get a message from Ildri asking you to meet her and Het in her room. As you're all still sitting downstairs, as Het had left you guys in the guild hall, do you all...
I got no hesitation, I'll go up.
Okay. You head up, Sadiq, Namaris?
As I said, I've pretty much pledged my life to her.
Yep, so your loyalties, you'll definitely do as she asks, no dramas there. Dragon whipped, as they say. So you all head up, and the door is closed when you get there. Do you knock on the door, or do you just walk straight in?
Walk straight in.
So,
I would knock, but
And then knock.
yeah. Open the door, knock, 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 as you walk in the door, as your friends and allies now enter the room, and you guys are greeted with Het and Ildri standing in the center of this room, and the room is cold. Like, you guys would walk in, it'd be bitterly cold. Not to the point of painful cold, but you would see your breath. Namaris specifically, you would probably feel the cold more than anyone because you're not wearing a whole lot of armor. That would definitely feel cold to you, like extremely cold. And in the center of the room, as do you guys shield the egg before they come in, like standing in front of it, or do you stand either side?
I'll stand in front of it.
So they're both standing in front and greeting you, but the room is like icy cold. Snow and ice up the walls and on the floor, and as you walk in.
Being as tall as I am, would I be able to see anyway?
No. It's about the same height. So, and he's probably a lot wider than you.
So, is everything all right, Yildri? This doesn't look normal. Why is your room like this?
Okay, you know when we were learning lots of Elvish, your aunts, and City, you're an uncle, and I didn't want to tell you because I was upset about Kosa's making spawns and things, but we have to keep this quiet, and I kind of like stepped to the side slowly.
hit stiffs to the opposite side, and presents his arms out like it's one of those game shows.
And what they reveal is a white dragon egg with silver pearlescent specks through it.
Can I touch it? Can I touch
I was
it?
just thinking the same thing.
What is it with people wanting to touch babies? I mean, come on.
Yeah, went through this last night.
I just run up and give Ildry a big hug.
You can touch it. Let me see your hands.
Probably still dirty from the morning meal that you guys had just sat down to eat.
I can blast freeze your hands so that they are not toxic to the shell.
I cast prestidigitation on my hands.
And mine.
Okay, you can touch. Okay, you can touch it just once, but it's very delicate. So
And she means the egg. No funny business.
So
No.
now
It's cold to touch, but you are able to touch it. It's rough, cold.
When does it hatch?
blood moonish ish about time. I don't time
Great
it. It was
timing there.
you know, the birthday party. You know, we're feeling a little, you know, never mind. It's bad timing.
No, the timing is good. It is not our timing that is bad. It is the timing of the enemy that is bad.
Just means we have to get back in time for a birthday.
Yes, correct. The thing is, well, you won't have to get back in time for the birthday because Yudri is bringing the baby with us.
How what now?
We are going to protect it with all our lives. There is no safe place for it that we can think of other than maybe one area, but isn't that right, Yudri? You are more concerned. You don't want it out of your sight.
I'm thinking of that. We're thinking of the Emerald Enclave, but I have you ever tried to steal an egg from a mama dragon? It's not a good idea.
Are we trusting the Emerald Enclave now?
It's lasted this long with me and no one knew.
What'd you do with your video, Nutty? Turned your camera off.
I guess
Not on purpose, sorry.
the thing is,
I have an idea. It may fit, it may not. And I hold up my bag of holding the saddlebag.
Wouldn't that suffocate it?
I think it probably would.
Namaris wouldn't know that, I don't think. You don't know much about magical items, do you?
Not sending another dragon to the void.
No.
No.
Yeah, I don't think it's a wise idea. If it hatches within the bag, it would definitely suffocate over time.
But wouldn't we just put it in there for the time being till after the battle?
I don't like it. With all the juggling around, it would be too dangerous for our child. I appreciate what you're thinking, Ellie, but what if it hatches early? What if you juggle it around and I mean, look at the billion things in that bag.
I'll empty it all out.
Do you just want to hold the baby? Is it what you can?
No.
That is a good point. We're calling it and the baby. What do we name the baby, the dragon?
Omelette.
That it hits mouth drops open and he is like, what the f?
No, omelette, probably not a good one.
Sorry.
Wow.
Yodri, you have my permission to eat her arm.
You don't have my permission to eat my arm.
Not
I
that
just
you
saw
need
a
my
big egg
permission.
and thought omelette, but you know, it's okay.
We are trying to be serious here. This is a serious
Do,
matter.
do you know what its sex is?
That's a good question. Hit looks at Yildri.
Dice roll?
Okay, roll a d6.
1.
Side. Rig. Actually, hold up. Roll a d6 on D&D Beyond. Before you do, Cat, you decide 1 to 3, boy or girl. First one in chat will okay, so we got a first one, 1 to 3 boy, 4 to 6 girl.
It's a little girl.
So it's a girl.
Okay.
So we need girls' names.
Hey, Maris is pretty good.
Okay. Any other votes?
What's your
Yep.
mother's name?
My mother's name was Charlotte.
I have a weird idea. Probably won't make a name, but we could probably arrange it into a name. All of the first letters of each fallen name of our group, and past and friends. First letter of each name.
Does anyone have vowels? Because that's going to be really hard.
I was gonna say, what about a Charelene?
Nemaris really wants her name in the name.
I don't know about Dragon's Olympic, but what if you merge like Yudri and Het to make the baby's
Hildry?
name? Oh, Helen? Something like that. I don't know.
I think this is a piece of work to think on.
And at the same time, it's not my job to name your baby, it's your job. I turn around and walk away.
No, wait, Sadiq.
He's not babysitting.
Yeah, he's got little patience. Sadiq, before you go, we really need to keep this on the down low, if that is fine. I think it will endanger the egg if people know about it.
That's okay. Your egg's meant to be cold, mine's not. I'll be back.
It is so nice in here. Okay, thank you for coming and listening to us, Ali and Nay and Sadiq. Namaris, we will think on the name thing and get back to you, eh? Hit looks over to Yudri and is like shaking his head, like slowly.
Please don't call her omelette.
I'm going to leave, but as I leave, whatever you guys need, tell me.
Thank you, Allie. Let me know.
That is going to be one very well looked after egg. And I'll puddle off as well.
I'm gonna gather the egg and put it gently in its case, and then give Het a hug and say, thank you for understanding and being so kind about this. It means a lot.
No problem. You have shared with me that you have lost young before, and that is horrible. We do not want you to lose another, and especially now, because this is mine and not, the evil dragon Kosis can...
Yeah. Let's go eat breakfast before it gets cold, like Sadiq said.
Cold is fine with me. Is the egg safe here without us?
I'm gonna put it in its case and take it with me. So.
Yeah, good plan. How big is this case? How do you carry this around? Is it...
It is a magical case. So what you see as she lifts it, because the egg is a reasonable size, it's not small. Dragon eggs aren't exactly small. What happens when Ildri picks the egg up from the nest and places it inside the case and closes the lid? The case goes from like a foot locker size down to a manageable size that she can fit in her backpack. You get the impression that it is possibly some form of interdimensional type magic to reduce its size once the egg is inside and it's.
And it can breathe in there if it hatches?
I'll probably definitely know if it hatches, but yeah, for a little while.
Okay. One last thing. What was your mother and your father's names?
I'll tell you after breakfast.
She's got to think of it now.
I'm really hungry.
She didn't think this far ahead. That's fair. Okay, I will ask you again after breakfast.
And he heads out, opens the door and sort of, like a gentleman, waves his arm for her.
So you all return back to the guild hall for breakfast. Sitting there, sort of, I would imagine by this stage, not much probably gets said. You eat, all of you sort of thinking about now what has just transpired. You now have essentially a sixth member of this group that can't defend itself. It is vulnerable. You know that going to be in need of watching the egg pretty closely. But you also know that Ildri is definitely quite capable of doing that on her own. She has done, obviously, for some time. But breakfast is eaten. Sit there, gets cleaned up. Seth comes out and sort of greets you guys, cleans up. About this time, the guild hall door opens, and a robed figure enters. One you recognise. You'd only just seen him previously the day earlier that day. Later the last day. Sorry. Thorfey enters the guild hall, put up, arms inside his cloak as he was before. He doesn't look like he's slept much. Looks very tired. And he approaches you guys at the table. And greetings, good morning. If you would, this is probably a little forward, but if you'd be so kind to accompany me to the Arcanus, it's something I think you should see. I've spent most of the evening researching, and I believe I've found something that could turn the tides in this battle. I think you all should see it.
Good.
And he turns and starts heading. So you all follow.
Yep, get up and follow.
Correct.
Goddamn fly.
And while we're walking out, I tap Head on the back and go, congratulations.
Head looks over and says, "Thank you, Sadiq. I am working on a name. No pressure on you at all."
Yeah, no pressure on me at all. I've already gone through that. That's your problem there.
So, as you are led towards the tower, you guys know where it is. He obviously knows where it is. It's been his home for quite some time. He doesn't say much unless there's something you guys wish to ask him during the walk. He won't speak unless he's asked, unless you guys speak to him directly. So, is there anything you guys wish to discuss or to discuss with him while you walk towards the Arcanus?
Thorfey, Cora mentioned a champion rider with Kosas. Do you know any knowledge that you can help us with on that?
Yes, this is what I wish to show you. Better to show you than to explain it easier. But I have found in the lower regions of the Arcanus an area which we've very rarely spent any time in. Old artifacts, old tomes, things of histories long forgotten. Not many of the younger acolytes and mages know of its existence. I spent most of the evening there, which is why I look so exhausted. I've only had a few hours sleep, but I believe I've found the possible identity of this rider and a way to render them no longer a concern. Possibly. But I thought it'd be better for you to see it for yourself and make the decision. You are all capable fighters, and you and Het have become most efficient in the arcane, I hear. I think this will benefit us all. And he continues to lead you on. Eventually you make your way to the Arcanus. He doesn't open doors physically as he walks up. You see him sort of wave a hand, pull his hand out and wave it. The doors open. And you all walk in, and he leads you to the spiral staircase, which you normally have used in the past to take you to the lower level where the teleportation circle is held. And he beckons you down. As you get down to the teleportation level, he says, this will be interesting. And he stands in the center of the circle and he mutters a few arcane words, and then you see a door appear in the rear wall. And it silently opens. It's just a random doorway. And he stands at the doorway and says, after you, as he sends a globule of light into this room. And what you see is it's a small room, but you see another spiral staircase starting to head down further. You all enter.
Yeah, but he goes first.
Yeah, agreed.
Damn it. My frozen up. Fuck me. Enough. You have to give me a second, guys. I had this written down. I'm going to have to start this thing again. But he leads you into this room. Seeing that you're hesitant, he enters. The light globules, 4 or 5 of them, emerge from around him and sort of light the area, and he starts descending the staircase. And he leads you down a narrow spiral staircase, which, as you get deeper beneath the earth, as you know, you're now probably under the city, the air becomes musty and damp. And you continue downwards, seeming like forever. Seems like a long time. Eventually you do make it to the bottom of the staircase. Right, back to my notes here. After what seems like forever, you come to a large double iron door, which Thorfi then starts to chant quietly, and after a few seconds the door swings open. He turns to you all and says, "Please, this way," as he steps through the threshold and vanishes into seeming darkness. Follow. One by one, as you step through, the familiar feeling of stepping into a portal washes over you. When your eyes readjust, however, you find yourself standing at one end of what looks like Boulogne City Arena. Overhead, the dark red skies with winged creatures flying overhead through the cloud where you can't quite make out what they are, but they are large, and there seems to be a lot of them flying around this reddish hue sky. Standing in front of you, Thorfi turns and removes his hood and looks at you all. He's probably about 15-20 feet from you. The ground here is, I'll say, it's very similar. It's just dirt ground, which is similar to the arena of Boulogne City. Namaris, you would know this arena quite well with the way it looks, but it's definitely not Boulogne. That much you can tell. It just has that same look about it. He then smiles softly at you, and without a word, his skin starts to change. But it's like almost like a sandstorm. The skin starts to peel away like sandwood as it was being blown away with a vacuum cleaner almost, and it just strips away. As it strips away from his head, the red scaly skin beneath is revealed. The curled onyx horns, the burning orange cat-like eyes, the toothy grin beneath. As the rest of this form changes, the large leathery wings reveal themselves and stretch. The tail drops and curls around at his feet. You see a tall, red-skinned tiefling standing before you. Not one you've seen before. You have seen similar beings in your past. You have dealt with Asmodeus in his true form. A very similar sort of look to Asmodeus in a lot of ways. But it's definitely not him. Not as big. But definitely not Thorfinn. And he leans forward slightly, guessing that some of you are about to resort to a more primal nature in this reveal. Or you resort to your baser instinct. Yes, I am afraid your friend, Thorfinn the Mage, is quite dead. Has been time. Now, before you say anything, Maris, I have brought you here for a purpose. Master has need of your skills. Well, not a need. More like a interest. What you can do. We'll fight. Fight to the death. Face, I would say, familiarity. And then sort of turns slightly to his right, and then turns back to you and says, all of the hells will be watching. And as he turns and takes a step and disappears, reappears in the royal, what would be the royal seat, where the lord or lady or king and queen would sit in an arena, is like almost like a box, which is up a little bit higher than everything else, and he sits on a throne which looks like it's made of bones and horns and skulls. As you now look around the arena and the sands sort of shift, it reveals thousands upon thousands of demons, giants, all manner of creatures that you've faced in the past, kobolds, all sorts of orcs, there's drow, there's just thousands upon thousands of spectators at this arena. Now what is brought to your attention, a series of figures start walking forward from the other end. Just out of focus, it seems, as they move within roughly 60 feet of your position, almost in a Mexican standoff style pose, mirroring your position as you stand. Sadiq, you see across from you a very dark-skinned orc, dressed in full plate armor, carrying a large greatsword, not dissimilar to your own, but black as onyx. His armor also dark grey. His face not dissimilar to yours in some respects, but you can tell by the look in his eyes that he is nothing but pure evil. Your amulet is glowing the brightest it's ever glowed, especially in the presence of all this evil and hatred. Namaris, you look out and your eyes focus now, and you see in front of you Boulder Grim carrying a great sword, match your own. She is grinning the most evil grin that she can muster. She stares across at you and is focused solely on you, no one else. Het, standing across from you, a black-skinned dragonborn, with loot in hand. And his armor is a dark male armor by the looks. Not someone you've seen before, but as a child you were bullied by a young black dragon, which you have not seen for quite some time. He didn't really make it within the Bard's College, and I think he was jealous of you 100%. His features look familiar, but you can't be 100% sure it's him. But just that memory flashes back of this particular Dragonborn that was more aggressive than most towards you. Ildri, standing across from you, is a dark elf figure, a drow. He's carrying a staff made of gnarled blackened timbers. And as she walks forward, you can see that there's a string of ivy that entangles the top of this staff. But again, it is black and gnarled, almost not dead, but it's definitely not natural. Finally, Alessandrus, you stare across this battlefield at this darkly dressed individual, hooded, daggers drawn. As she rolls her hood back and drops the cloak, you notice a large scar running from collarbone to ear. A dark-haired young girl, most familiar to you, and also familiar to all of you as you stare into the face of Alessandrus as you first met her. Alessandrus, you see standing before you a young Abeth Morgan. You thought had murdered long ago. Her eyes burn with hatred as she stares across the battlefield at you. Next thing you hear is the booming voice of this tiefling as he stands and is obviously using probably thaumaturgy or something similar to enhance his voice. Fight to the death. Earn your freedom. Earn your glory. And you can see that he's not looking at you guys when he speaks this. He's looking at the other group as he holds his hand, and we will roll initiative. On this PC, so give me 1 second, guys. PC being a dick. Second. That. And open this one. So. There. So, Neymaris, your initiative, please.
20. I have advantage on initiative.
20 for Neymaris. Alessandrus.
14.
14. Hit.
11.
11. It's not going to work now. Yellow. Or Ildri.
Unfortunately, I wasted a nat 20 for 22.
22. And Sadiq.
22 without a nat 20.
22 without a nat 20. Give me 1 second. I need to bring up this. Why that is. 4. Work. Thank you. So we will start our initiative. Those rolls come up there. Yes, they. Awesome. So top of the order, the initiative order is, when we go to our battle map as well. God of it. Oh my God. Stop. Stop. Right. as you see yourselves currently standing at this end of the, and of course the cameras aren't working. Of course. Give me 1 second, guys. We're gonna fix the cameras as well before we start this battle. But as you can see there, guys, you are all at this end of the battlefield.
That's a mint arena, by the way, dude. That's cool.
Yeah, that's the Pathfinder arena battle map. It's got it's two-sided too, so you've got both sides.
We've used it before, eh?
Yes, for Neymaris's original battle, yes. Give me a few seconds, guys, while I readjust our cameras here. Hit there. Bring it. Appreciate the patience here, ladies and Germanies, as we sort this out. Up there. So we got that one, lock those in place. Alley dad joke. Come on, someone read out that Alley dad joke so while we're doing this. Just cause.
What's the difference between a guitar and a fish? You can tune a guitar, but you can't tune a fish.
Oh my god. Badum tush. Oh my god, that was terrible.
That's my inspiring speech.
Oh, that was shocking, to say the least.
I want fish and chips now.
Tuna. I prefer the other white meat.
Oh my god. Oh, it gets worse. So for those that do run Skype, if you are running Skype for NDI sourcing, the way to stop it from resizing is if you right click the source and go to the transform, and then where it says there's a thing, it's where scale, it'll come up with scale, bound scale. If you scale it to the inner instead of having it on default, it will stop the NDI source from resizing randomly. So you go right click the source, go transform, edit transform, and with bounding box type, scale to inner bounds, and then you hold control to resize the window, and you can literally like bring it right up or right down, and it holds its scale pretty well. And if you hold control, it stops the snapping on OBS too. Just if you have issues with snapping, you don't want to snap to a particular position. Anyway, right, so there we are. So I can close that because that PC is just going to be a pain in the butt. So with that, at the top of the round, we have the Beth Morgan, your counterpart, Alessandris, and she will make her advance on you. So I'm probably going to be off camera for most of this, guys. Going to be making movements, so just bear with me.
Well, this is odd.
How is there a portal to hell under the Arcanus? I thought
You
we
will
were
move right up
City.
to in front of you, Alessandris, and she will attack you straight away. Actually, will she or will she not? Before she moves, she's actually gonna. You're gonna need to make a dexterity savings throw, I believe. Yes, you need to make a dex save before she moves. Gonna try something first. That will be a success. So her eyes flash, and you feel something affect you, but it doesn't really take hold. But she will move up and she will make one attack. She's used her action, so she'll just use her offhand to attack you with a 13 to hit, I believe. So that will not hit.
Nope.
And that will be pretty much her at this point. So that's her. Next up, Ildri, you're up. Sadiq, you're on board after that.
Just a question, DM. What's the lighting like around here?
There is no light, no natural light that you can see. So you're not sure whether it's day or night. It would not be, for your purposes, no, you would not be able to do so.
Radio.
It would not be classed as dim or dark.
No, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Just a very red hue throughout the whole arena, which is probably a little off-putting.
Alright, I walk up slowly towards the drum, blast my hands out. She needs to make an intelligence save.
How far are you going to walk forward?
As far as I can to get within, well, it's 150 feet, so...
Sort of step forward enough. Yeah. Well, you probably could have done it without moving if you wanted to. She's definitely within 150 feet.
I'll get about 15 feet.
Okay, so
I can move in a little.
So that's what I pretty much did. So she needs to make a
intelligence save.
Intelligence save. 1 second. I gotta find where she is. There she is. Intelligence save with a 14.
As I cast Feeble Mind on her,
ooh,
she will. That's a fail, and her intelligence and charisma becomes 1. She can't cast spells, activate items, understand language, or communicate in an intelligible way.
How long does that last?
For 30 days.
Holy shit! Does she get to resave at the end of her turns?
Yeah, in 30 days.
Really? Wow.
I wish there was a way to. Should I copy paste it onto the. To you and.
Yeah, because I've never used the spell. So normally, though, if it doesn't say that there's a save at the end of her turn, then. So put it on a failed save.
I'm gonna make 46. Yeah.
Is it a concentration?
It is an action. Instantaneous.
Instantaneous. You can identify friends and follow them, even protect them. At the end of 30 days, creature can repeat. So, oh wow, that is an amazing spell. Well done.
46 psychic, so I got 11.
11. That is an amazing spell. 11 damage. And she takes the damage, and you see her eyes just glaze over, and she just sort of stands there idly, not really doing a whole lot. Is that yours? Your turn?
That's me for now. Yep.
Sadiq, you're up. Neymaris, you're on board after that.
Okay, I'm going to Rite of Dawn. Roll my damage to myself. Track that. Where's my little thingy over here? Yeah, so Rite of Dawn and take a swing at the dude, and I am also going to.
So you're going to need to move. You're not going to get how much movement have you got?
35 feet.
Not quite make it into melee combat with him. He'll be 10 feet away.
I'll wait there then.
You wait there?
Oh, actually, no, I'll throw my dagger for a 13 to hit.
That'll miss. It bounces off his armor.
And a not so much better 10 to hit.
No, both hits. You throw it and it just glances off his armor. That dagger returns to you, yeah? Yeah. So each time it hits, but it hits his armor and returns as you throw it again striking nothing but armor. That is your turn, Sadiq. Amaris, you are up.
I'm just a little bit dumbfounded.
Okay.
And I'm looking at Holger.
Not Holger.
Fuck, Volder. Holger on the brain. I get Volder.
Swags.
Yeah. And I'm going to take out my longbow for a change.
You can take out your longbow. Okay.
Yep. I'm going to cast Divine Smite.
Okay.
And I'm probably going to miss her with a 15.
You will miss her with a 15.
Let's give it another go. Oh my god. So I'm just going to smile sweetly and say, bring it, bitch.
So you miss with both shots. Your Divine Smite will remain until you hit.
I'm probably going to swap back to my axe, but I'm just waiting. She can come to me.
The Divine Smite will remain on your bow, on your arrow, on your bow, because you've cast. Or does it? You cast it on a weapon, so, or is it on a weapon hit? Does it cast on yourself, Paladins?
Hang on.
Does it specifically say you cast it on yourself or on the weapon?
When you hit with a melee weapon attack, you can expend one spell.
Okay, so you can't use it on bow anyway, so it's not a melee weapon.
Oh, okay. So
that doesn't really matter. So save it.
Right.
Save your spell slot.
I'll save it for my next one.
Save it for your. It's melee weapon only. So save it for that. So with that, that is your turn. You fire your bow, and you're not used to it. It feels foreign in your hands, and you go wide with both shots, and she just laughs at you, which kind of upsets you greatly.
I just look at her and say, "You come to me now."
The next up is the Black Dragonborn. Looks at, watches Fiala step forward and sees her cast a spell. Looks around. Gonna make a perception, quick perception roll here to see if he notices what has been happening. Oh, excuse me. That one rolls a 19 on perception. He is going to... I wonder if that would work. He's going to cast a spell magic on the druid at 6th level. It is a magical effect, is it not?
Yeah,
it was a spell.
As is shaking his head, yes. So I trust his judgment.
So, what level did you cast it at? Just so that, just in case I have to make a roll.
I casted it at 8th.
I will have to make a roll. So 8th level DC will be. What is your spell DC?
16.
He rolled a 22, so the effects of your spell have been dispelled. So, the druid's eyes focus once more as the feeble was feeble mind, wasn't it?
Yep.
Does it say anywhere on there that the spell won't work?
No, it doesn't. It just...
Yeah, it states the ones that do work, but not the spell not working. So
okay, so we'll.
I think it's a DM's thing.
Yeah,
I think it is spell magic at that level. I mean, the roll was a 22, so I would rule that it worked. It doesn't specifically say that it doesn't. So we will run at that ruling at this point. If everyone is okay with that. So the spell magic does work, and the spell is negated. The druid's eyes come back into focus, and she does not look happy. That is the action of the Dragonborn He is not going to move. He's going to step. No, he's going to stay where he is for now. Next up is the druid's turn. As the druid shakes off the effects of this magical effect, looks up towards you, Fiala, and the drow scowls in your direction and almost nods in recognition of your skill in that respect. And he is going to cast He's going to cast Sunbeam, and basically a beam of brilliant light flashes out from her hand, 5 foot wide and 60 foot long, straight out towards you, Ildri. So each creature in the line must make a Constitution saving throw. So that would be probably Miss Sadiq just. She will strike you, Ildri, 100%.
I got a 12.
Got a 12. That will be a fail. So you will.
Do I need to roll?
You don't. Just Fiala.
Okay.
So you will take 27 points of damage, which will be radiant damage, and you are blinded until your next turn. So you are unable to see until the end of your next turn. Look here, make sure we got that right. Until your next turn. So you're blinded for the remainder of this turn. So you will have disadvantage on any saves requiring sight until your next turn. That is pretty much all she's going to do. She's going to remain there. Next up is the plate-wearing orc who draws his sword and charges towards you, Sadiq. And you see him draw his blade across his forearm as he heads towards you. And with that, his sword ignites in a brilliant flame. So he is in your face. He is going to take 2 attacks against you. His first attack will be a 22. Second will be 11. So I believe the first one will hit.
Yeah, first one hit.
Second one will not. So you will take 10 points of slashing damage and 6 points of fire damage. And he again just comes in, overhand strike the first and connects, and as he pulls back and tries to strike underhanded across your chest with the second, it connects with your armor and deflects on away. But he readies himself, ready for a return attack. Alessandros, you're up. Hit your on board after that.
Looking weirdly at the person in front of me, trying to work out what. I take a swing with the snake bite scimitar.
Snake bite scimitar, of course.
18 to hit.
Where are we? Skit. Good, that will hit.
That is 11 slashing. Plus.
7 slashing.
Uh, 12 poison, and they must do a Constitution roll of 18.
You find that the effects of the poison don't seem to worry her in the slightest.
Okay. Next attack. 28 to hit.
That hits.
11 slashing.
11 slashing.
And I take it the poison doesn't count.
He doesn't seem to be phased by the poison damage at all.
So don't bother rolling.
I wouldn't bother rolling it for her. It is pretty obvious that she seems to be really well immune to poison damage, as the poison, you can see the poison in the wound, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything.
Cool. Yeah, I'm standing my ground.
Hit, you're up.
Hit moves left diagonally without passing the front of the enemy, 30 feet.
Done.
And then he holds his lute forward, touches the symbol of the Steel Lady, and he says, "Steel Lady, give us death or glory. And all of my team now have bless, a D4 on saving throws and attack rolls."
Coming.
That is good. Excellent.
You are all blessed.
And Kilik, invisible at the moment, will just move closer to me, as close as he can. He gets, I'll just have a check of his movement. He gets 40 feet of movement, so he'll be right next to me.
So, is that you hit?
That is it for hit at the moment.
Next up is Volda, as she grins at you, Nemaris, and charges forward. And she growls in warrior fervor, and you can see that she has gone into a rage. She doesn't quite make it to you. She's not going to attack. She's just going to move forward back to the top of the initiative order with Abeth. She will now strike you, Elishandris, 2 times. Actually, no, 3 times. She gets 3 attacks. First one is a 10, so that will miss. Second is a 10. Holy crap. So they were both natural 1s, by the way, guys. A 10 for her is a natural 1. With double natural 1s. The third and final, however, will be a 23 to hit. And that will hit, so you'll take 8 points of slashing damage. And no, she will not get that. So that is the only damage you take at the moment. You will have to make a Constitution saving throw. Sorry.
And I roll a D4, do I?
You can add a D4 to it, yes. So 9.
Yes.
That'll be a failure. So you will take 29 points of necrotic damage as her blades appear to have been edged with some dark energy, and it just seeps into your bloodstream. And that is her. She is not... Actually... Nope, that is her. That's all she can do. Fiala, you're up with Sadiq on board after that.
Who's the closest person I can hit?
You've got Beth engaged with Elishandros behind you. You've got the orc engaged with Sadiq just directly in front of you. And the other two, Volder's heading in towards Namaris, the other two are at the back of the... So probably the orc would be the probably closest one to you at this point.
I'm gonna do... can I cast my ring with the lightning bolt on it, 100 feet long and 5 feet wide, and towards the orc?
If you do that, you will get Sadiq as well.
Okay. Can I hit that at anyone in a line that without hitting my friends?
You can get the druid that just fired a sunbeam at you.
I'll get the druid.
You fired at the druid down here.
Yep. It's gonna be 29 lightning damage.
Is there a save with that?
Is there a save? Yeah, there's a dex save. Yep.
So a dex save will be 6. So that'll be a failure.
29 damage. Lightning.
29 lightning damage. 29 lightning damage to the Archdruid as she is lit up with a lightning bolt from the ring.
That's it for me.
That's it for you. Sadiq, you're up. Namaris, you're on board after that.
Alright. Yeah, take a swing at this dude.
Swing at your opposite.
18 to hit.
That will miss. Again, you find purchase on his armor.
21 to hit.
That will hit.
Excellent. Now, you'll also be baned from that.
Casting is that part of the...
Yeah, I have to actually hit him to cast it though.
Okay, yep.
He's just evil, so 21 points of damage.
21 points of damage as you strike forward and finally find purchase in the crease between the armor. And he grunts in pain and then looks up and his eyes just blaze with a sort of a darkness. Now that you're face to face with him, you can see his eyes are as black as coal. That you?
Yeah, that's me.
And Maris, you're up. Volder is 10 feet from you and closing.
I look at her, and I look up to the stand, and I think, I'm not playing your stupid game, you bastard. You killed my father, and I run towards those stairs on the...
What stairs?
On the arena.
The arena walls
Not
are 12 feet high.
That's not going to work then.
You would know this because you have been in the arena before. So you have the entrance and exit at either end, which goes to the underside of the arena, which are both barred off with gates. And the arena walls are 12 feet high.
Ooh. Damn it. Okay then.
I see what you're trying to do, but yeah.
And your silly game. Right, I'm gonna rage.
Rage, bonus action rage.
Bonus action rage. Divine Spite on my swags.
And you're gonna move into Volder.
I am. And I just need to use my rage.
And inspiration for Sadiq from Grim.
And I am going to bonus action divine smite, and I'm going to attack her with the first, which is a 16, which will probably miss.
That'll miss.
Oh my god, yeah! 28 to hit with the second.
That will hit.
And don't forget your bless for the first one.
Roll a d4 for your first one as well.
Son of a
That will also
that will
hit, so
make
both
it-
will hit. So 12 damage for the first. Don't forget to add your rage modifier for that
Oh.
first 12. So what's your rage modifier at the moment?
3.
3. So that'll be 15 on the first.
And my
And your
divine
second?
smite, which is a... How
Should
do
be-
I roll?
It should say on it what it is. Should be a d8.
1d8.
It's like, yeah.
It should stay on the spell what you roll for it.
Yeah, so 3 for my Divine Spite, and my second one, damage 18.
And as you would expect, the radiant damage sparks off and does full damage, but the physical damage with Volda, she is also raging, is not as much as it should be, but you know that because you have fought her before. Yes, make sure you... what level Divine Smite was it, by the way? What level are you able to cast it?
3. Right, well...
So read the spell and tell me what the damage is, because it should be more than 68.
You can expend 1 spell slot to deal 2d8 extra, 2d8 extra
2d8 damage. Again, prepare yourself
Plus-
before a show and read your shit.
That's alright.
Roll another d8.
Plus the 1d8 for each spell level higher than first, so it's only going to be first level because I'm only level 3.
Okay, so you only have it at first level, so that's 2d8. So, right, so another 8.
Extra. Yep.
Right, just remember that.
2d8, not 1.
Read your shit, woman.
I read the last line and just saw 1d8, so shush.
Jeez, I don't know. Next up is the Dragonborn. Surveys the battlefield, looks around, and he pulls forth his lute. And you can't hear what he says because I don't have the skills that Baz has with songs, but he plays a small scale on his lute and blesses his entire party also. So everyone on the battlefield has bless. And that will be pretty much it, I think. For him, action. I don't think he has any bonus actions that he can do. No. So he's going to stay where he is. And that will be him. So next up is the druid. Been struck by lightning. Is seeing, again, surveying the battlefield, having a look around, looking at you, Ildri. And you will need to make, when I find where it is, a wisdom save, please. Which will not be at disadvantage, even though you're blinded. Don't think it is disadvantage on this, so just a straight wisdom save.
Well, it's a nat 1, but it's an 11 plus the d4, but it's still a nat 1, so I don't know.
Even with the 11 plus the d4, the nat 1 doesn't really matter with skill checks so much, but to roll it, so it's a 12. It's still a failure
so
anyway.
12. Yeah.
Regardless of that one or not, but natural 1 nonetheless. Failure on the wisdom save. So you are now paralyzed as she holds your hand forward, puts your head down, mutters a couple of words under her breath, and you are not only blinded at the moment, but you are also unable to move. That is action. Got any bonus actions here? Don't think she has. Nope, that is going to be her. Next up is who's next up here? I have remember which one's which. Alright, that one is Orc going to attack you, Sadiq. He is going to attack you first for the got the bless. It's a d4, so that'll be an 18 to hit, and the second, the 26,
both hit,
which is a natural 20 on the second. So we got which is a crit, doesn't matter for you because of your armor, so they're still just both standard attacks. First one will do 10 slashing damage plus 4 fire. second will do 5 slashing plus 4 fire. As he seems to be finding the kinks in your armor. Alessandros, you're up with head on board after that. Go away, cat.
Yeah, okay, with a plus a...
Yeah, don't forget your D4s.
That's a miss.
That is a miss. Once again, you miss with your first attack. He seems to be a lot more dexterous than you gave her credit for. Second one will hit. With a 24. 9 damage with the snake bite. 9 slashing damage. She is going to use evasion to reduce that damage by half. Attack. And your second attack, sir. Oh, that was your second attack, wasn't it?
Yes.
So you're offhand. You still got an offhand, though.
I do.
Yeah, well, you are 2 attacks in your action, and you're a rogue. So what is in your offhand?
Nothing.
Nothing. So no offhand attack. What is your bonus action, if any?
I was going to move 1 square towards Maris. Still in combat range.
Dance around your opponent, moving slightly closer to your companion. Next, is that it for you?
Yep.
Hit is you're up.
Het moves backwards towards the bottom of the screen, his full 30 feet as far as he can. Kelek will do the same.
Done.
And then Het will cast, seeing, he would take note that Yildri has had spells cast on her.
He would indeed.
And he will cast Dispel on Yildri.
At what level, sir?
At 4th level.
4th level. They would instantly dispel 1 effect. I don't think it wouldn't do multiple, would it? This might be one spell effect.
When you cast a spell using a 4th level slot or higher, you automatically end the effects of a spell on the target if the spell's level is equal to or less than the spell. Yeah,
that's a spell.
Yeah.
So, because there's 2, well, actually, no, yeah, they're both magical. One's blindness, one is paralyzation. I'd say you would end the most recent one, which would be the paralyzed. So, Ilju, you are able to move. However, you are still blinded until the start of your turn. Not too far away.
I can't do anything. And that is it for hit.
Is it for hit? Next up in the line is one Voldegrim. Now engaged with you, Neymaris, raging. He will attack you with her greatsword with a natural 20 on the first, 27. And a miss on the second with a 12. So you'll take, on the first attack, you'll take 28 points of slashing damage, halved to 14, as she hits you with an amazing attack. You've not fought with her with weapons for quite some time. You used to spar with her, but you've never actually been in a proper physical confrontation with her with weapons in an actual fight, and you're a little bit taken back by this attack. It was very strong and very quick. That is her turn. Next up is Beth. She's going to re-attack at you. Actually, no, she's going to do the same thing as you. She's going to step around, remaining in combat with you, putting herself within 5 feet of a ally, so which will give her.
So in other words, you're doing exactly the same thing.
Exactly. She is mirroring you 100%. She gets 18 on the first.
Miss.
And a natural 20 on the second.
No, that's miss too. Yeah.
And her offhand is also a natural 20. So you will take, for the 2 natural 20s, 20, you'll take 34 points of slashing damage.
Fuck.
And she will get sneak attack on the first. And this will roll in the roller, so you want to check that out. You'll see your damage. When my dice clear, I'll be able to see the damage. 22 points of further damage from the sneak attack.
And a con save, I believe.
And a con save.
But do it with your D4.
Make sure you add your
20.
D4.
20.
That is a success. You do not take the necrotic damage.
Thank fuck for that, because, yeah, it's not... Yeah.
Is Alessandra looking a little bloody, is she?
Oh, hell yeah.
Right, so with that, Ildri, you're up. You are, as it comes to your turn, the blindness seems to fade, as does the paralysis. You now are able to see and move once again.
As I focus my eyes, I see Alessandra's covered in blood, and I'm going to get within 60 feet of her, if I am.
You already are. She's pretty close to you. She's behind you, so I'm not sure if you would see it unless you were going to survey the battlefield, but I would assume you would at this point. Being a healer, you're used to it. You know that what goes on within your party. You would have a look around. You would see that she's taken a fair amount of damage. She's not looking pretty. She's not looking healthy.
I'm going to cast heal, and she gets 70 hit points.
So a mass heal of 70 hit points.
Thank
You,
you.
Alessandra.
Thank you.
That's it for me.
So that's it for you. Sadiq, you're up. Nemaris, you're on board after that.
Going to take a swing at the walking from.
Orky boy.
I'm not even going to roll a D because his armor class is lower than 25.
Yeah, I'm pretty
And-
sure it's lower than 25.
Again, lower than 22. So, so
Both
two
hits.
Where the hell's my roller? Oh, there it is. So 22 points of damage and 23 points of damage. Ah,
Oh, wrong
actually,
keyboard.
no, cancel that.
Cancel
I've got yeah. 22 and 31.
Whew.
I was rolling the wrong damage.
No problem. So he takes a massive amount of damage in that one hit, and it staggers him a little bit. He definitely doesn't seem as hearty as you are in body, but his armor is pretty strong. He manages to you do manage to knock him with that attack. Nemaris, you're up.
I'm going to swing my swax.
Swing, batter, swing.
22 to hit with the first one.
That'll hit.
13, 16 damage with the first.
16 damage with the first.
Yeah.
She.
Divine.
Do you have a spell slot for Divine Smite?
I've got 2 more.
Do you want? Okay.
Yep.
So Divine Smite it.
Should I do it for the second one? Seems I didn't say it yet.
Well, no, you can do it before or after. I mean, I prefer
okay.
it before, but it doesn't really matter.
So that's 9.
9 points
Divine.
for Divine Smite, and your second attack.
Well, D4. 17 to hit.
That will miss.
Damn it.
Your second attack, she deflects with her own sword, and she's still looking pretty good.
Grr.
He gurs
Better.
back. Next up is the druid not the druid, the dragonborn, and he again surveys the battlefield, and he also casts a heal on the orc, who gains 70 hit points. So the orc standing in front of you, Sadiq, you watch as these wounds that you've inflicted start to close. That is his turn. He's not going to move. Next up is the druid. She's seen Fiela cast a heal. She is going to maybe we should do something a little different here. She is going to cast this spell. She holds her hands up, makes a motion, and a wall of flame erupts from underneath you, Ildri, as it extends from the wall, 12-foot wall of the arena, right through in a semicircle round to one of the pillars, engulfing you in flame. You need to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
With a D4.
18 plus my D4.
That will be a success. So
okay.
You'll only take 17 points of fire damage as this flame erupts around you. And that is her. She is going to move, however. She has moved out of your line of sight, Ildri, as the four large pillars, so the little dark circles that you see on the map there, large pillars that extend about 60 feet straight up. Not unlike Roman columns. There is no ceiling here; they don't go to the ceiling, but they do form a barrier of sorts, which give cover. So she has moved out of your line of sight; you can no longer see her. And next up is the warrior, or the orc warrior dude thing with you, Sadiq. He looks a lot fresher than he just did a moment ago, and he strikes out with an 11 that'll miss, and a dirty 20. So you will take 7 points of slashing and 4 fire damage from his second attack. And he remains locked in melee combat with you. You also hear and feel the heat and the flame erupting from behind you as this 15-foot high wall of fire is now separating you from your allies. Alessandros, you're up. You guys on this side would definitely see that wall of flame just erupt in the semicircle, engulfing Ildri in flame.
All right. I'm sorry, Namaras, but I'm going to leave you stranded. I'm going to do disengage back to head.
You're going to disengage all the way back to hit?
Yep.
Pretty much within 10 feet of him, but you are disengaged and have shot backwards.
Now, it's a free action to swap weapons.
It is a free action to swap weapons.
All right. I'd like to switch to the Apollo bow, please.
Duly noted.
All right, here we go. One shot.
At which target, sir?
My counterpart
No problem.
with a 22 to hit.
That hits.
It's 6 piercing.
6 piercing.
Plus 7 of that other one. Can't remember.
I think it's force damage from memory.
Damage.
From memory, yeah, force damage. So she takes the shot.
He forgot his D4.
And you forgot your D4 on your attack, but you're fine. It hit.
Well, I hit anyway, so
And your second attack.
can't use it. I did use disengaged.
You
But-
did. No, you got 2 attacks in the attack action, dude.
I do. But
You're a fighter. You got 2 attacks in the attack action.
Okay. Again. All right, I'll put
Previously,
the
before you added the fighter levels, it would have only been 1 of attack because you'd switched to a 2-handed weapon.
I think I hit.
I'm pretty sure you did.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt.
It's 12. And the force damage.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt too.
9. Nicely done. 9 points.
And bonus action.
You bonus action disengaged.
Oh, well.
So no, but you've used that already. I'm sorry. That's you, pretty
just-
much.
So action surge is a action, isn't it?
Action surge is a feat which gives you another action. So it gives
So
you the attack action again, so you can make 2 more attacks.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Action surge, go for it. $23, that hits. 6 piercing. 6 force. Second attack, she's starting to look a bit bloody. 16 to hit, that will miss. Roll your d4.
Yes.
20, that'll hit. $12 piercing. And your force damage, 8 force damage. Well done, a massive amount of damage. She is looking like a pincushion right now. Several holes without the arrows, but several holes have appeared where these magical arrows have struck and have caused a huge amount of damage in that one attack. She's looking very bloody. You guys want to take a short break before we carry on? Once we hit we'll get to the top of the initiative order first, and then we'll take a break. So we've got 2 more attacks to get through. So Hit, you're up. And then we'll get, it'll be Volder's turn after that, and then we'll take a short break.
Hit looks around the battlefield and noticing Allie retreating towards him, sees how bloody she is. Does everyone else look okay?
From your position, Namaris, she looks pretty good. She's only taken a couple of attacks. Can't see Sadiq through the fire.
Oh, right, the fire's blocking view, yeah.
Yep. Even Ildri, you know she's probably taken damage because she's now at the moment standing in the middle of a firewall. So it'd be kind of hard to see her per se, but you know she's definitely taken damage.
Okay. Seeing the initial immediate damage in front of me, as a bonus action, Hit casts. He grabs the grey skull and he says, "By the Steel Lady's grey skull, we know that heaven can wait." And he casts Healing Word on Alessandris for 17
points of healing.
healing.
And Alessandris, you start to feel much better.
Thank you.
And then as his action, Hit is happy with his placement on the battlefield. I'm going to go old and true. I'm going to... The creature in front of Namaris on the outside of the flame.
Yep.
That was the one that was attacking Allie, right?
Yes.
How does that one look? Bloodied?
Yes. You would recognize her as well. You guys have all seen Alessandris' original face. So, yeah, so that one there, she is looking quite bloody.
I'm going to hold the loot forth, but without playing a note, trace a quick sigil in the air, and Old Vic's blast. 3 shots at her.
Roll to hit.
First hit's a hit, 26.
It hits.
Second hit, not so much.
D4.
12. Oh yeah, and a D4. I forgot about that. The second hit's a hit, and I'll just roll the D4 because it's a dumb thing to do separately.
Yep.
12 plus. Yeah,
So
good
16,
roll.
that'll still miss. So 2 hits, 1 miss.
Two hits.
Your damage on 2 hits, please.
The first one for 7.
7 force damage.
Second one for 8.
And 8. Actually, they're all cold damage, aren't they?
No, my old Vix Blast. It's only my bard spells that are
Okay,
cold.
so
usually.
that's force damage still.
Force damage,
They
yes.
do strike. Both of Olvic's bolt shoot through, snaking around Alshonris and finding the target, and drop her to one knee briefly, and she manages to bring herself back to fighting position, but she is looking pretty worse for wear.
And Hit will move. I've decided Hit and Killick will go 20 feet to the right.
Well, thanks, Hat.
It's okay, I can still get you from here.
And with that, it is Volda Grimm's turn as she attacks Neymaris with her great sword. First one is a 18 plus 4, so that'll be dirty 20 with a 2 on the d4. So dirty 20 for the first and a 21 for the second. So Neymaris, you will take 20 points of slashing damage, halved to 10. As she finds Purchase with both her attacks. She holds her ground, she growls back at you as you've done to her, and we are at the top of the initiative order, so we're going to take a short break, guys. Bear with us. Hopefully things won't break in the meantime, but we'll be right back after this. Just going to take 5 minutes and grab a drink and a loo break, but we will be right back in a moment.
Battle map.
Okay, guys, we're back. We're just waiting on everyone to come back before we start the battle again. But welcome everyone hanging out. Daemortem, cheers, dude. Appreciate your advice, my friend, on any rulings. Just be advised that we do have a number of home rules that do differ from rule books and such. So just I'm not jumping on anyone here, but I would appreciate if those kind of comments, keep them out of the chat. DM them to me if you think that I've got something wrong, and I'll make a decision and we'll sort of progress from there. Unless I ask, of course, if I ask the chat for help with the ruling, by all means, dump it in there. But we do run a number of homebrew rules, so just so you guys are aware.
And we make stuff up as we go.
And we make stuff up as we go along. Sometimes just to keep the continuity. Don't apologize, dude. I get it 100%. I mean, I wasn't 100% on the ruling of that particular spell, and one thing that I've discovered about 5e is sometimes they're very specific about what a spell does, and other times they're very grey. So sometimes the fact that it does not state a certain that the spell can be dispelled generally doesn't mean that it can't, but it could be construed that way. So again, we'll make a decision on the spot. As long as we're consistent for the entirety of the campaign, we should be good. So we make that decision now, and the next time it happens, we'll have to make sure we make the same decision rather than something different, which does happen.
Did that come through your microphone?
Probably.
Sorry.
It was really loud.
Oh shit.
But I appreciate you hanging out with us anyway, Daemortem. It's awesome. Everyone else in the chat too. I see Magic in there. Grim. We got who else we got there? We got Sylv. We got Magic. We got a whole bunch of people. Lady Litany, of course. Who is has graduated to VIP status. So Lady Litany, congratulations on the VIP.
Iceman's in there as well. Not lazy.
Yes, I did see that.
Back.
Apparently the laser was tripping him out. Laser is having fun. Well, it's a brand new battery, but I think the connection's a bit hinky. Might have to look at getting a new one at some point.
Yeah,
Could just be a dirty
Another
point.
one.
I was going to say, my one's the same. I think you guys have noticed they get a bit crazy
I think
sometimes.
it was one.
It was one of yours.
Yeah. I've got a few more.
Yeah, I'm probably going to buy some anyway at some point.
They did come from wish.com.
Yeah. The cat loves it. And I got a whole bunch of batteries here. I think it's just maybe the connection for the starter. Sometimes it works great, and other times it doesn't work at all. Like now.
Apparently, it's illegal to own Australia.
What, a laser pointer?
Yep.
Really?
You're not supposed to be able to buy them here either. You can get them secretly though.
Well, the previous tenant where we are got arrested for having a laser pointer, a cat toy laser pointer.
Wow. Okay, so it's just given up to ghosts. We don't have a laser
Shit,
pointer
we have
anymore.
one.
You can go into the $2 shop and buy them.
Yeah, you can get them from $2 shop here too.
You can buy them anywhere, but you cannot carry them anywhere. Apparently, from what I've read.
Oh no, it's working again. Woohoo! Trippy laser pointer. Anywho, so we're all back. Gouda. Let's get back into it, guys. So we were back to we were at the top of the initiative order. Now when I find out which one I was on. No, not that one. That one. Initiative order. So here we go. So we're back to Beth Morgan, who, seeing one Elishandris run away, grins wickedly and switches to a bow of her own and makes her attacks. The first one is a 18 to hit. The second is a 17 to hit.
Yes.
They both hit, or just one miss?
Both missed.
Both missed. That's right, you're up over 18. Are you 18 AC?
19.
19. Damn.
Hi.
Yes, that's right, your armor. Yes, I remember the armor upgrade. So she missed with both her shots, but she will do nothing. Will stay where she is. Time being. Next up, Fiela. Ildri, you are in this wall of flame. I think you need to make another dex save at the start of your turn. Let me just double check. Wall of fire. So each creature within it must make a dex. Yes, so on the start of your turn, you'll need to make another dexterity saving throw, please. Which
11 is Bless still up?
Bless is still up. Yep.
Okay. Plus
Plus 4 or D4.
12.
That'll still be a failure, unfortunately. So you will take another 19 points of fire damage, but you are now able to move out of the wall of flame that is engulfing you.
Alright, I'm actually going to cast a sleet storm on an area about 20 feet in front of me.
Yep.
Which is a 40-foot radius cylinder. Everything's covered in slick ice, and anyone in it's gonna have to make a dex save. Sorry, Sadiq. I think you're in it.
If you're 20 feet forward, you will probably just. So is the center of it 20 feet forward?
I'm gonna place it. I'm gonna place it 40. Let's see. No, it's centered on me actually.
So
I'm gonna
you.
move 20 feet forward and cast Sleet Storm.
That will put you. And you won't really want to be right next to the orc, do you?
Not really.
I'll put you away from him. Put you there, so we'll catch Sadiq in it if it's centered on you.
Yeah.
So you cast it. It will catch everybody in that at the moment. So everyone needs to make a dex save, including you, Sadiq. So it'll be the druid.
40-foot cylinder radius.
The druid, and we'll make a dex save. He rolls a 14. The dragonborn as well with a 14. That is it. So, your dex save 24. So you'll save. So what's the damage on that?
Anything 18 or below, it's gonna fall prone. And
oh, nice.
It's no damage. It's just difficult terrain, and on the start of its turn, it makes a dex save. Falls prone.
They fall prone straight away, or on?
The ground in area is covered with slick ice, making it difficult terrain. When a creature enters the spell area or on a turn starts its turn there, it must make a dex saving throw. On a failed save, it falls prone.
Okay, so it would have been at the start of their turn. Yeah. I'll keep those saves, and anyway, I'll keep the saves. We'll run it as it is for now.
And I'm hoping the ice might put out the fire. I don't know.
Probably not, because it's a magical flame.
Okay.
It would. Actually, let's roll. Ildri, roll a d6 for me. 1 to 3, it will lessen the damage in that area. 4 to 6, it will not.
Oh, it's a 5.
So it doesn't seem to have any effect on the magical flame. The flame seems to turn any snow and ice that falls on it into steam instantly, causing a bit of a foggy sort of area, which will give light obscurity in that area as well. So there's a light obscurity in that area of wall of flame. Right, so Ildri's moved out of the wall of flame, so that gap is not there. The wall of flame is running that entire direction. Because the druid has not taken damage, he doesn't need to make the concentration save. So is that you, Ildri?
That's it for me.
If you. So Sadiq, you're up. So you at the start of your turn will have to make your dex save will keep yours as well. So you were fine. You managed to able to keep your footing. I didn't make one for the orc. Sorry, let's make that one now. And he's fine. He manages to hold his footing as well. So you both manage to hold your footing as the sleet storm starts covering the ground in ice and ice and snow.
Okay. I'm going to start with my bonus action.
Yep.
I'm going to Blood Curse of Meddling Mind on the druid.
On the druid, yep.
Yep. So she now has disadvantage to her concentration saving throw.
Okay, cool.
And then I'm going to take a love swing at the orc in front of me. 18 plus 3, so
21, that will hit.
okay. I'll roll for damage last. And 18. I'll roll another plus 4. 16. 21 again.
That'll hit.
Alright, so 2 lots of damage. Where's my damage thingy? He's evil. So 20 points of damage and 30 points of damage.
So he is looking bloody. Taking a huge attack on that round. He's opened up a couple of major wounds and he's bleeding quite heavily. Now, Maris, Sadiq, is that yours? It's you?
Yeah, I'm all done.
Yep. Now, Maris, you're up.
Right. I'm gonna Divine Smite, and I'm gonna hit her with a 25 for the first hit. With 13 of that damage.
15, which is halved. 6.
And then
7
Divine Smite damage.
Divine Smite damage. That will be your last Divine Smite.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Pick an attack.
Ooh, and a 20 to hit.
That'll hit.
And 16 damage, so that'll be 8.
8 points. She is starting to look bloody also.
I really just want to grab her by the hair and just give her a kiss on the cheek.
You can attempt to do so if you want. Actually, no, you can't. You've used your action.
I've got a two-handed sword in my hand.
Yeah, that too. So that's your turn. So next up is the Dragonborn, who takes a slip and falls prone. But he will use half his movement to get back up again. With the rest of his movement, as he's slowed anyway. Actually, wouldn't be that. But what he is going to do is he's going to mutter a spell, it looks like, into thin air. And not that you guys can actually see it, but he has cast a spell and has sent an ally out that no one can see. And that is his turn. Next up is the druid, who again also uses half a movement to get up. Going to remain where she is at this point. And she is going to cast Ildri. You need to make a charisma save, please. That is a failure. Even with a D4, that'd be a failure. So, In an instant, Ildri. You vanish from the battlefield. You find yourself standing back at the guild hall in the center of the room, looking around going, okay, you're not sure what just happened, but you are back at the guild hall by yourself at this point. Sadiq would be the only one that would see Ildri vanish from the battlefield. Actually, no, she wouldn't, because the wall of flame would drop at this point. And as the wall of flame drops, sleet storm is still in that area at this point. How long? Actually, no, that would drop too, because is that concentration or is that just an effect?
Concentration.
So that would also drop as Ildri vanishes from the battlefield. Next up is the orc facing you, Sadiq. He looks at you, breathes a little bit heavy, but makes his attacks. First attack is a natural 20, which is negated by your armor, but it's still a hit. Second one will not, so you'll take 10 slashing damage and 4 fire damage. And that is his turn. He remains where he is. Alessandros, you're up with Hit on board after that. The Hit, you would have noticed Ildri vanish from the battlefield as the wall of flame dropped.
Attacking the doppelganger, or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
With a 30.
I'm pretty sure that'll hit. Inspiration for Ildri from Grim.
So that's
16 points of piercing.
No, it was 6 piercing and 16 force.
So 22 total. Nice roll. She's looking extremely bloody.
That hits again.
That definitely hits.
8 piercing.
8 piercing.
7 force.
And with that final attack, you watch as this woman that you murdered so long ago.
I thought I murdered.
In self-defense, mind you. It wasn't an intentional act, but it appears that she was able to come back in some form anyway, as you deal the final blow. Literally, the final blow hits her and you watch her turn and look at you, and she just think of Endgame, Marvel Endgame, as it just slowly turn to ash and melt away to nothingness. That your turn, Alessandros. Still have movement left if you wish.
So from where I am, the far right corner is the Druid.
Is the Dragonborn. Far right is the Dragonborn. The left hand side is the Druid.
Druid. All right.
You will not be able to see the Druid from your position. You do not have line of sight.
Oh well, I'll stay where I am because I'll have range to the Druid.
Yep, but you don't have line of sight. You can't see her. You're two dirty great pillars right in front of you.
The Dragonborn.
Yes.
Damn it.
Yep, you can definitely see him. That is you. Hit, you're up.
Alright. Hit is going to move 20 feet in front of the first pillar there to the left. So opposite side of Namaris. Gillick will go with him. And Hit is like wondering where Ildri is. What happened to Ildri? There's his free action as a word. And then he notices as she is gone, he can see the Dragonborn. He can see the one in front of Namaris. Is that about all he can see from there?
You can see Sadiq and the one in front of him, but you cannot see the Druid. this
Okay.
point.
I would assume the druid cannot see me either, I suppose.
Druid cannot see you either.
Hit is going to... What happened made Hit's plans change. Hit is going to cast pretty much dead in the center of Sadiq and the Dragonborn.
Yep.
And as he casts, he's playing his lute, and he says, "You will die on your knees by the hand of Mr. Freeze." And he casts Hit's Snap Freeze. So
Nice.
centered between those two, he is casting the equivalent of Fireball in ice.
No problem.
And that will be...
Dex saves.
Yeah, Dex saves all around. That is at 5th level.
So that is for the Dragonborn. Dex save. 23 for the Dragonborn. Druid. A 16 for the Druid. And the Orc. Advantage on these. It'll be a dirty 20 for him as well.
Okay, so the 16 fails, the other two are saves.
Okay, does Sadiq have to make that save also?
Whatever the distance of Fireball is from the center point between those two, so he
I
may
would
be...
say, yeah, I'd say he'd be in it too. So Dex save from you as well, Sadiq, please.
Add your +4 to Sadiq.
Oh, holy crap. He doesn't need it.
Never mind.
34.
Okay,
So,
so...
damage, please.
And this will add +3 to this damage because I've got my School of Music on.
Yep.
So 39 points of cold damage and half for those who saved.
So the Druid failed the Dragonborn save, so 36 halved is 18. 18 damage for him. The Druid takes the full 36.
So I'm getting 18 points of damage.
Yes.
Thanks.
18
Yes.
points of cold damage, yep.
Hit will call, sorry.
And so does the Orc, who is looking really bloody at this point. So is that you, Hit?
Then Hit will, as a bonus action, not a spell, good. He will, seeing he hurt Sadiq, he will say, sorry, Sadiq, if you're gonna die, and he starts playing Die with your boots on, if you're gonna die, and he gets some bardic inspiration, 1d8, which he can use for anything over the next 10 minutes, just 1d8. One
So
use.
it's a one use D8 to add to your at some point. The Druid is going to make a con save at disadvantage because of the damage. So she took the full 36 points of damage. So DC 18 with disadvantage. She will fail the concentration save. At that, Ildry returns from her banishment. And Ildry, you're standing in the guild house, and all of a sudden you're sucked back into this arena. A little bit disorientated, but you're back. It is your turn, Hit.
That is me, thank you.
Next up is Volda. She is going to attack you, Neymaris, once again. She is going to use an ability, which will give her that. Quickly, you watch her sort of take a deep breath in, and you watch one or two of her wounds start to close up. She then attacks you with her great sword. First one is a natural 20. Second one is a dirty 20. She will then action surge and attack you twice more. Third one, natural 20. Fourth one, dirty 21. So 4 hits. So you will take 8, 22, 36, 42 points of slashing damage, halved to 21. There's still a massive attack, but still you're managing to soak a lot of this damage as she is able to bolster herself, and just a flurry of attacks. With that, it is now back to the top of the initiative order, which would have been Beth, but she has perished. So Ildri, returning from the banishment, we're now back in this fight. The druid is maybe 15 feet from you to your left, the dragonborn 15-20 feet to your right. Just behind you is Sadiq and the orc counterpart. Your turn. Might be muted.
Yeah, that's the druid diagonally in front of me, right? And
Yes.
then the orcs to the left. Okay.
You got the orc to
Meh.
your left slightly behind, druid out to the front. Or pointer. Yes, a pointer. So there's the Sadiq and the orc. Druid is there, and the dragonborn.
I'm gonna turn kind of diagonal, so I'm hoping to get in a kind of a cone, 55 feet. Take my last obsidian tablet and cut my hand and shout my draconic power, which is a dex saving throw.
Both dragonborn and the druid in that quite easily.
It's a dex and a strength saving throws.
Both dex and strength?
Yeah.
Cool. So, dragonborn. He fails the strength. Succeeds on 19. 19? Yeah, 19. So is that a success on the dex?
Yeah.
Druid.
DC. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yep, druid, 11 on the strength and a 17 on the dex.
Okay, so the DC a dex of 10 or below, they get 27. And the strength was to be knocked back of a DC 15. So
I think they both failed the strength. No, they
gonna
won.
take-
The druid saved on the strength, failed on the dex, so she'll take 27 points damage.
yeah.
But
And
she
then
will remain. I think the other dude failed on both.
so it's 27 and being knocked prone, and if not, it's half damage and they're not prone.
He will be knocked prone and he's taking some damage. They are both looking bloody.
And that's it for me.
Good for you. Sadiq, you're up. Namaras on board after that.
All right, dude in front of me.
Attack him.
17 to hit.
That'll
so
miss. You do have a D8 inspiration if you want it.
I'll use it on this one because that's only up to 13 so far.
And still D4s as well.
Do it D4s as well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm rolling D4 on the table because it's just easier. So 17 to hit again. So
They'll both miss.
Yes. Yeah.
He's able to get enough sort of muster together to deflect both of those attacks, even after the massive amount of damage he's taken previously. He still seems to be standing strong. Anything else you want to do, Steve?
No, just that.
That. Maris, you're up.
Right, I'm going to hit her with usually my sword with the
Swax
nat
with
one.
a natural 1. That'll be a failure.
Yep. And then 27 to hit with the second one.
That'll definitely hit.
And that's with 16.
Be 8. He absorbs that second blow. She's still looking pretty worse for wear, but she's still up and she's still fighting.
Yep.
That's you.
It's me.
Next up is the Dragonborn, who will use half his movement to get back up again. He's going to use a... Where is he? And a bonus action, cast himself a bit of a heal. Give him, he will get a bit of a heal here. I'm not going to tell you how much, but he will get a heal. And as an action, he is going to cast. You watch as he stands up, Ildry, see a shimmering force start at his feet and encase him. You would know it as a form of a shield spell. You've probably seen it before. He's now standing up. That is all he's going to do at this point. He is command. And at this point, next up is the druid, who is also gonna gonna cast Mass Cure Wounds, which should get the orc and the dragonborn for that amount. And it'll get herself as well. So again, once again, Sadiq, you watch some of these wounds on this orc just start to close as the druid casts a spell. Next up is the warrior, the orc in front of you. He will make his attacks. He is going to strike with a 22 for the first hit and a dirty 20 for the second. That'll be 20 points of slashing damage and 8 points of fire damage. Next up, he's pretty much going to remain where he is. Next up, Alessandros, your turn. You're on board after that.
Okay, so I can make it to the Barbie.
The Barbie?
Yeah.
What Barbie?
Barbarian thingy.
Ranger. Yes, you should be able to make it to there without too many hassles.
As a free action, I'll switch to my snake bite.
You'll be able to switch weapons as you run. Put yourself into melee combat range.
22 to hit.
That hits.
That's 9 damage.
9 slashing. You will get sneak attack on this attack.
Yep. That's 5 poison.
5 poison. Make a con save, which he will succeed on a 19.
Okay.
Sneak attack damage, please.
Yeah, getting there. It's 4, isn't it? Or was it 5?
I think it's 5d6 now.
Oh god. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
24 points of piercing damage, which would be halved to 12, but it is enough as Alessandros charges in, slides in across the dirt, slicing the Achilles tendon with the first, dropping Volda to her knees as Alessandros stands up, stands up behind her, looks at you, Neymaris, grabs Volda's head and just slashes her throat, spraying Volda's blood all over you, which I would assume that Neymaris would revel in at this point.
You're welcome.
That is your turn, Alessandros. Hit, you're up, and with that, the moment the blood leaves Volda's body, she also turns to ash.
Hit, looking across the battlefield, has seen Sadiq being wailed on by another orc. He's seen Ildry looking reasonably damaged. He's having trouble deciding he is going to move 15 feet forward. And yes,
Done.
and he is going to. Oh, this is so tricky. He's going to cast Vic Bolt at the orc in front of Sadiq.
Problem.
He
Roll to hit.
gets. He doesn't
That'll
get so
miss.
good.
Even with a D4, that'll miss.
Even with a D4, that is definitely a miss. And
Second
with
and your
his,
third.
no, that's Vic Bolt.
Oh, Vic Bolt, okay.
Yeah, like Witch Bolt, but
Yep.
it's unfortunate. And crappy. With that, he will. That is all Hit will do. He
all Hit will
cannot
do?
do anything else.
No worries. Next up is Ildri, as the other two are dead. And Sadiq, you're on board after Ildri.
Dildry is gonna look around and cast Mass Cure Wounds.
You'll get Sadiq, you'll get Hit. I would say possibly even Mars. Mars as well. So Hit,
only
Mars, and
18.
Sadiq.
Yeah, they get. I'll get 18.
And me.
And you, because you're standing right next to her. So yes, you'll get everyone. Well done. Forgot about you. You're kind of into it.
And then after I.
So 18 hit points, guys, for
Yep,
you.
18, and then I'm gonna go up to the closest one and shillelagh them.
Shillelagh,
Shillelagh.
which will be the orc.
With a nat 20 to hit for 30.
Nat 20 to hit for 30. That'll hit. So max
Does the
weapon
D&D
damage.
It's a D&D, yeah, 13? Yeah,
It auto crits. So
13.
13 points of shillelagh damage on the orc. Takes it like a trooper. Is that your turn, Ildre?
That's it.
That's it. So Sadiq, it's your turn.
Oh,
No, Morris, you're up after
right.
that.
23 to hit. And I'll roll the thing over for that one. And the other one's 22 to hit.
So they both hit.
Alright. Damage time. We're doing this one. 27 points of damage. And 21 points of damage. Oh, I could re-roll. Nah, I won't do that. So
So
21 points.
as you strike your final blow, you hit the first, striking across his chest, finding a kink in that armor, and even chipping a bit, like cracking the armor you've hit with such force. And as he slowly starts to sink with the damage, you bring this heavenly executioner down in between his neck and shoulder, right in that crease of the armor there, and almost completely sever his head. The eyes roll back in his head, and he lolls to one side before collapsing on the ground and melting.
Cool. Anyone nice and close to me?
Druid within 15 feet of you.
I want to move up to her now. But I'm not going to attack because they need to be right beside me for that to happen.
So you move in to melee range with the druid. That is your turn. Namaris, it is yours.
How far away is the closest one to me?
Probably just outside of your running range. Get close. The druid's the closest.
Okay, so I'll run 45 foot in his direction.
Well, actually, with 45 you might get... Just make it into melee range with
Yes.
45 feet.
Right, well, I'm gonna twack him with my swacks.
Whack her with your swags.
With a 26 to hit with the first one.
Pretty sure that'll hit, but give me one moment. Make sure there's reaction listed. Where? No, I do not. So, it hit.
16 damage.
16 slashing damage. And your second hit.
Oh, 26 to hit again.
Hit.
And, ooh, 20 slashing damage.
Like, wow. Massive attack from
2 sixes. Yes.
a raging Neymaris as she runs forward. Swack's held high, probably pissed off that Alashana stole her kill. But she's raging, she doesn't care. Whoever's the enemy needs to die. And this druid is not looking good at all. Now, shit, might help I put the damage on the right person. But she's definitely not looking good. Next up is the
Just put it on all of them.
druid's turn. At that moment, another little imp appears on the battlefield and casts Mass Cure Wounds, which will give 16 points of healing for enemy.
So is his imp now visible?
It is now visible. That's that. He will then. Pretty sure that's just about all he can do, really. Touch. Maybe this one. What are we going to do for there? Childry, dexterity saving throw, please. That will be. You got a D4?
15? 14? I'm 15.
15. Nope, that will be a failure. So you will take 5 radiant damage. As a burst of radiant energy erupts from underneath you. Next up is Alessandros, with it on board after that.
Okay, so want to move to the pylon up on the far right.
Up by the Dragonborn?
Yeah,
Behind it or beside it?
just beside it, so I can see the druid.
Can. Would be you'll be shooting through your friends, but you can see her.
I'll go for the Dragonborn. So I switch to Zebo.
Debo, alrighty. Fire away.
.24 to hit.
That hits.
There's 6 piercing.
Piercing.
And
11
level force, sorry.
Alright, 6 piercing, 11 force. Your second attack.
Nat 20.
Nat 20 for a 33. Roll your damage. That'll be 13 piercing and your force damage. 12. Nice attack. They are both looking very bloody now, guys. And is that you, Alchandras?
Yep.
Hits, you're up. Both targets are not looking healthy.
Alright, Hit saw the little imp appear and do his Mass Cure Wounds. And Hit faces the Dragonborn and the imp, noticing they are well lined up. And he says, he pulls forth his lute and he says, "Hit gave rock and roll to ya." And a large magical 5x5 foot round sphere rock appears and rolls in a straight line straight over them. And
What is the save?
Hit is activating as his bonus action his loot as well.
Yep.
and it's auto critting with the damage, but the save
Nice.
is Dex.
Dex save. So 1 Dex save. The imp will fail almost immediately. He has a low Dex.
It will be at disadvantage because of the auto crit on the loot.
They both fail.
Okay, so they take 56 force damage as the magic.
Well, the imp goes poof as this magical boulder slams into him, just rolls over him, and you see that he's stuck on the outside of the boulder as it continues to roll, and then it strikes the caster, and virtually the same thing. You hear him cry out in pain, and then all you see is as the boulder rolls through, just that pile of ash start to dissipate as he is no longer on the battlefield.
Excellent.
That's your turn, Het.
And then Het will. Yes, if they're dead, Het will move 30 feet left, so he's putting himself sort of facing, almost on the edge of the sphere, facing behind the druid creature. And yes, Demortem, that was a good. I gave them kiss, but nonetheless.
From balls of rock, exactly. So, with that, Yayla / Ildri, that is now your turn as your counterpart, this dark druid, the only one left on the field.
Alright, is she looking? You said she was looking pretty.
She is pretty bloody. Like, you know it's not going to take much.
Alright, I'm gonna use my bonus action to be a water elemental.
Okay.
And I'm going to go into her space. God, I hope this works.
On the floor. Oh. Already, right?
That's okay.
Found you. Right, so Ildri transforms into a water elemental and moves into the space.
Yeah, strength saving throw for her.
Strength save with a 9.
Alright, she's gonna take well, she's only gonna take 6 damage, but she's gonna be grappled and inside the water.
She is grappled
Unable to
inside
breathe.
the elemental, unable to breathe. So she was currently holding her breath. She's looking pretty bad. I would even go as far to say, Ildri, that if you wanted to, knowing that even the 6
choke her out.
damage, that you could probably hold her in here. She's not gonna succeed on a strength save against you. Do you wish to hold her inside your water elemental form until she drowns?
Yep, I'm gonna suffocate her and then let her go.
Doesn't take too long. She's not healthy. She struggles. You feel it within yourself. The rest of you watching as this druid within the elemental is struggling to get out, cannot get out, and eventually takes that breath, that painful breath of water, and eventually sucks in water into her lungs and drowns inside of the water elemental. And as Ildri, you feel her breath, her last breath, and her body wither and die. Release her, and as she flops out wet on the ground, disintegrates into ash as the rest have done, bringing our initiative to a close. However, as you all turn and look around the arena, the devils and demons still, they haven't stopped cheering. I mean, they were here for a battle, and a battle is what they got. The redskin tiefling stands at in the box, in the royal box, and just slowly claps, and then raises a hand, and with a flick of a wrist, a sandstorm just envelops all of you.
I was gonna try and
try.
throw a bow at him, but never mind.
as the sandstorm starts whipping up around you, eventually obscuring all vision of the arena. And as it whips up, the sound of the howling wind in your ears is almost deafening. Sand in your face, you have to shield your eyes to stop yourselves from getting sand in your eyes. And then as it slowly starts to dissipate and fade, find yourselves standing out the front of the guild house in the street of Valon. Stunned onlookers look at you as you appear seemingly out of nowhere. The guild door closed and barred. There's boards barred up over top of it. As you look around, you notice that there's a mess of guards around. There's a lot of guards around, and a couple of guards approach, and they're sort of looking at you for a moment. You see that the one's got his hand on a sword, the other's got a crossbow, heavy crossbow, nocked, ready to fire. He raises it with a very confused look on their face, trying to determine if you are who you are. Another 2 or 3 guards join, and eventually you are surrounded by the Valon City Guard. None of these you recognize. They're not ones that you've probably dealt with on a regular basis before, but they seem confused as to who you are and why you're here. No, they didn't say anything at this point. They're all arms, weapons ready, waiting for you maybe to say something or to do something, but they seem waiting for something.
So I take it we've noticed the guild all boarded up.
I would say so, yep. Oh, you definitely would have noticed that.
So I'm just going to say, so how long's it been this time?
That's what you say to the guards?
Yep.
One of the guards sort of steps forward and says, "You are the Lions, yeah?"
Yes.
Yes.
Just hold. He turns to one of the other guards and see him whispering him something. The guy takes off running. After about 20-25 minutes of a bit of like the standoff, they're waiting, and eventually Breton Hart comes in, and he pushes his way through the few guard, and a bit of a crowd started to gather as well of townsfolk. And Breton sort of pushes through and looks at you all, says, is it really you guys? Damaris, Alessandros, where have you been?
How long has it been?
What, since you were last seen?
Yeah.
About a month and a half.
Oh, crap.
You were last seen entering the Arcanus with Archmage Thorfy, and we've been searching for you ever since.
Ildry, you can take it from here.
Ildry quickly checks her case.
Yeah, you check the case. It's fine. For all intents and purposes, the time that has passed for you guys would have been maybe 4 to 5 hours, 6 hours tops. But it appears that once again you've been sucked into an interdimensional portal, which has altered the traversal of time in the real world.
Where's Coram? Is he all right?
Lord Coram is fine. He's worried, of course. I mean, you guys are our champions. You're supposed to be here fighting this battle, and you disappeared. We were getting close to announcing your death. The guild, the Order of the Lion is no more. It's been shut down. We have no more Adventurers Guild.
During this, you know, guys, you really stopped going into portals. Yeah, I can't even say that.
Stop got it going.
Thorfy.
I think
Anyone
we have
that
to
looks
stop
like
going to hell.
Thorfy.
Yeah, well,
Anyone
I mean,
that looks like Thorfy is an imposter.
we followed Thorfy, and this is what happens, unfortunately.
You say Archmage Thorfy did this?
Well, no,
Is it?
he's dead. but
Wait,
the
what?
guy that took over.
He was
his-
here like months ago, but he was here.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
Turns out it was just another demon in disguise. Oh, by the way, Fiala, and Hit puts his arm on her and he says, Yildry, because he doesn't call her Fiala anymore. I don't know why that came out. And he says, I'm the medicine man. And he gives her some more healing, seeing she's still looking a bit down. Another 12 points of healing.
You're all looking pretty rough, and at this point, Breton says, "You men, unbarricade that door. Even though the guild is no more, this is the Lions of Valon's home. This is where they will. This is their home. This is where they will stay. It is now theirs."
Recommendation: search for traces of where the imposter has been.
Well, of course, we're definitely going to investigate this, but magicians, I mean, they're hard to trace. But you say he was a demon.
Well, it seemed that way.
I will go visit with Lord Coram and inform him of what has happened. You look like you need rest. I hate to inform you of this, but you will not be able to rest long. The blood moon is but maybe a day or two away, if at most. So get your rest.
Sweet.
Be prepared for battle.
We're just in time.
And he turns and pretty much waves his hand and rallies the guards, informing them, hey, that's it. 2 of the guards have taken off over to the guild hall door and have removed the boarding from the door. The guild insignia is not there anymore. It's been taken down. As you walk inside, the all remnants of the guild itself, the office is empty, the desk and everything's still in there, but none of the paperwork remains. There's no one in there. Obviously, it looks like it's been shut up for a good part of 3 or 4 weeks. It's a little dusty, but it is essentially your house now. It's your building to do with what you will. The guild has been, obviously, by the sounds of it, been dispatched. And if you actually, Namara's probably the only one that would notice your guild insignia, the magic insignia that you guys all received, is no longer there. It has disappeared. So anyone else wishes to check, you will also notice that black lion head insignia that was magically tattooed to signify your guild membership is no longer there. And we will call it there, guys. We will pick this up next week for what will most likely be our final episode of this story, as the blood moon approaches and the lions prepare for their final battle. Well done, team. Great combat. It pretty much went exactly as I expected, which is awesome.
Like that we whooped ass.
Pretty much. The thing is, what I will tell you, and I will tell the rest of the group as well, you would not have died in this combat. The idea of the combat was to tie you up as long as possible. And if you had died, you would have been teleported back to Valond anyway. So, but the idea of the battle was to tie you up for a length of time so you had less time to prepare for the final battle. So, as Modus' plan worked.
Does that mean that Thorfinn is actually not?
Thorfinn is dead. Which is what he said.
I know, but I thought, seeing as it was all.
Yeah. How long he's been dead? You don't know.
Who knows?
You don't know.
Okay.
Het knows, Baz knows because I told him, but Het doesn't. But yeah, Thorfinn has been dead for some time. So guys, we'll quickly, because I know Baz has got to get off and head to bed, he's got work tomorrow, and Nutty has to get up to head for school. We will quickly run around the chat, around the group, and get some moments from tonight. Chat, if you've got a moment that stands out for you, put it in the chat. We'll read it out if we can. Sadiq, a moment from tonight's episode for you. I know there wasn't a lot of roleplay, but anything that stand out for you.
My favourite part was the Feeble Mind spell.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah,
I did not expect that. That was
an awesome spell.
That is an amazing spell.
When she was picking them, she told me, I'm gone. oh crap, all those spells are awesome. Which one are you going to pick? I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. When you get to the higher levels, it starts to get really hard because there are some amazing spells. Which is why I've always said to you guys, as at a long rest, if you want to swap out your spells as a magic user, even though only certain classes are technically able to do that, I reckon everyone should be able to. If you've learnt the spell as a caster, then you can change them out and use them as and when, at a long rest. So I'm always going to use that rule. I quite enjoy that rule. Alessandros.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Yeah, I can't. No.
You can't? You can't? Is there too many, or just can't think of one?
Can't think of one. All right, there is one. My awesomeness at sliding in and taking out the monster's counterpart.
It was only fitting. It's a roguish thing to do, right? I thought it was a pretty good description. That's pretty cool. Ildry.
I like everyone's reaction to the egg was, can I touch it? I love that.
Yes, chat has brought that up as well. We got Blue Jay, everyone's reactions to the Ildry egg. And
I agree with Grim on the
It's bowling bowler, definitely. Yeah. Daemordum, I think Ildry's daughter should be called Frosted Flake. I love the feeble mind. Nice. Neymaris, a moment from you.
Fucking Alessandros taking out my lady, but no, I think, the egg was awesome, and naming the egg was amazing. I still think you need to go with,
No, I think it should be up to the chat to decide.
Oh, we're not letting chat. We're not letting chat name that. How no? We're not letting the chat do that.
Like baby fever or something.
How about we? How about
Coldy Mayer? Oh my god. And Miss Master Hit.
Look, it's a different one for me tonight. I had a million things planned. I say a million. I had about 7 or 8 things planned, and every time I did, someone would step in the way of that. And I did whatever I was going to do was going to hurt my own people. So it was really, I was quite surprised how we didn't actually fight together in this one. We normally sort of ground and pound the same people together as much as we can, but we were very split on that fight. So
I tried.
Well, it was intended that way. Obviously, counterpart versus counterpart. So the enemies themselves were pretty much attacking their own counterpart. That was the way it was. If things had sort of turned in a particular direction, they would have obviously made allowances. Ultimately, it pretty much played out the way I'd expected it. I knew exactly that Volder was awesome. I knew Neymaris would attack Volder and only Volder. History there. Knew that was going to. Knew Alessandros would probably focus on Beth, not understanding why she was or how she was there, supposed to be, and things like that. So, and another druid on the field. I mean, I would have imagined Ildry would have been more focused on the druid, knowing what she could possibly do. And same with Dragonborn, seeing that he had a lute in his hand, he obviously had some bardic skill as well as clerical skill. So there was that counterpart there. So having the counterparts was kind of cool. But eventually, as it turned out, once things started to fall, you started coming together as a group again. Us counters.
I like the firewall. That was a really good feature of the map. When you firewalled, I thought that was a brilliant idea. Yeah.
But it was kind of worked for this because it separated the battlefield too. But the sleet storm right on top of it was a good idea. I mean, it created that zone where they were knocked prone, they kept having to get up, they couldn't do a whole lot. There was a lot of negation stuff going on. The feeble mind spell, I mean, if that had not been dispelled, that would have been he would have been out of the fight. It was just the intelligence of these combatants were matching your own, so they were, as I say, being a counterpart sort of battle. I had to play it on a really intelligent sort of level. Would they notice spells that have been cast, and would they try and combat them? And they most certainly would. Just like you guys, you saw the imp casting the wound spell, so you knew that, okay, this dude has similar abilities. I've got to take out the imp, take out the caster. But yes, the egg incident was definitely a standout. The one part that stood out the most for me, however, was Het asking Ildri, "What is your mother and father's name?" And Yanti's face. It was like,
name generator.
Wait. It was like, I'll tell you later, kind of thing. Caught a little bit off guard. I mean, we don't, and that's the thing, D&D, we don't often talk about our parents in D&D with most characters. You don't really name them a lot of the time, because they don't really become a part of the story, unless it's prudent to your backstory. Obviously, with Het, met his parents, so it became a part of the story. They were already in his backstory. Kind of what it is. Alessandros' parents' names, I made them up and presented them for him, because as Alessandros didn't really know her parents, he probably wouldn't have even really known their names. So it was easy to write that in. And again, exactly, Daemortem. Most people seem to be orphans a lot in D&D. It's kind of funny. It's become a bit of a thing. But anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed the show, despite the technological difficulties. Next, on Wednesday night, hopefully we'll solve those issues before we start. We don't have to go through that crap again. It was a great night. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I really do appreciate it. I didn't see, did we get any follows? No, didn't get any follows tonight, but we did get a couple of inspirations. Grim dropping an inspiration on Ildri and Sadiq. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with us as usual. If you rejoin us next week, on next Sunday night, it will be more than likely our final episode of this story. So next week will be a big fight. We may run a little overtime as we have tonight, because the battle may take a little bit longer. If we do, we do. If we don't, we don't. We'll try and fit it in as much as we can. But join us for that. We'd love to have you there. As I said, at the end of this next one, the next session after the end is going to be a bit of a prologue. So you guys and you players will have a week to write up a bit of history after the fact, depending on what happens, if you survive or not, who knows. I will give a brief history of what happens to the Realm of Paradigm after the battle has been won or lost, and you guys will give a little bit of history of your characters, what happens to you guys after the fact. We will then be taking a break because on the 21st, the Sunday 21st, Yanti and Sadiq are away, so we will not be streaming on that Sunday night. But the very next one we do will be a Just Chatting session with the cast and with you guys to chat. That'll give you guys in the chat the opportunity to ask any questions. So keep an eye out for that. We'll announce it in Discord, we'll announce it on Twitter. Come and hang out with us for the Q&A. We'll be sitting down talking about the story, about the campaign, about the characters, and anyone in the chat that has been following the story, even if you've only been following for a short time, you want to ask some questions of the players about their characters or me about the story, come and hang out. Barring my autocorrect, I would enjoy that Q&A. Auto cucumber is great. Alright guys, that is it for us. I'm not going to raid tonight, which we normally do. We're going to save that for the end of next week. So we're going to do a raid, an end of story raid next week. So good to see you all. Come and hang out with us on Wednesday night for the Curse of Strahd. Keep an eye on the Discord for announcements on gaming streams, as I will be doing them occasionally when I feel like it, but we will be doing some Ark and some World of Warcraft gaming streams at some point. So come and hang out with us when you can. Until then, stay safe, take care, bye bye.